The drug that got hold of my life was marijuana. It really got hold of my life. The biggest thing that took hold that made me realise that I was no longer in control and the drug was in control is the constant fight thinking I could get control back. So it wasn't a specific, I'm not in control anymore. It was a constant fight thinking I could get control back that made me aware of it. It was definitely too late, there was no doubt. Once I started having to fight for control again, I was in the grips of it. It had control of me. Some of the things that happened in my life that definitely led me down to the drug abuse was things like, I remember once when I was a bit younger, seeing my dad crying on the bed and asking him what was wrong, and him telling me that Mum had gone. She'd left us, but then Mum came back 3 weeks later and we weren't allowed to express any hurt to her. We weren't, and I saw how upset my dad was, but it was as if she'd just been on a holiday. We weren't allowed to express that, Mum, you hurt us. And so I learned from a young age to not speak out hurt and just bottle it in. Loneliness was the biggest thing, and I needed an outlet, and I found just at 16, it didn't seem like it was a big deal. Just with friends, tried marijuana, and it was an instant numbingness. I left home at 16 and was sort of just fending for myself, living on my own and things like that. So at the end of the day, this could stop me thinking. This could take away the hurt, so I thought, and to be quite honest, it did take away the hurt, but it didn't take away the problems, and therein lies the grip. I had an older cousin who lived next door to me, and he was smoking, and he was cool. He looked cool, he seemed like he had it together. He drove fast cars and did burnouts everywhere, and I was 16, so I looked up to him. So I just wanted to fit in, I think, was the bottom line. Well, the lies that I definitely told myself, and it's evident to me now, was I'd tell myself that it relaxed me, that I could get control back. I used to think that my brain worked too fast, and so I needed to slow it down just to be able to get through the world, you know. Yeah, I used to lie to myself and tell myself that it won't go on forever. That, you know, once I'd settled down, had kids, got my own house, it'd change. I've got a son and a daughter. I had my son when I was quite young. I had him 12 days before I was 19. And I was only young. I hadn't grown up then. So I was still in the midst. I was a dad, but I was still growing up. So it was like just kids having kids. And because I love my children, after I lost that relationship, I started having my son once a fortnight, and the time in between was just destroying. It would just destroy me. I'd be so depressed, and I'd smoke more, and to hide away from the pain. It was just a vicious circle over and over again. Well, what was going on in my body physically was it had control of my appetite. It got to the point where I'd only eat when I smoked. I'd smoke and then wait, and then I'd eat. So in between, I wouldn't eat. I'd constantly be losing weight. Any cold would just catch hold of me. Muscles were just deteriorating. I weighed, before I stopped, and for a long time, I'd only go between, say, 55, 56 kilos to 62 was the highest I ever hit, but rarely did I go over 60 kilos. And for someone nearly 6 foot tall, just under 6 foot tall, it was, it was just a ridiculous weight to be at. And that, of course, played more on the depression, because I'd look at myself in the mirror and I'd hate what I saw. It'd just be... And people don't realise, but skinny people get just as damaged as fat people when they get picked on. And it was terrible. I didn't speak it out loud, but people saying to me, "You're so skinny," would just cut very deep. And it was just snowball on the depression. When I go out to nightclubs and things like that, I'd use some other drugs, because marijuana just wouldn't let me be happy. It'd numb me, but to go out and socialise, I thought I needed something else. It got to the point where I didn't think I could be me anywhere. I needed something to help me just socialise with people. I started getting paranoid, that just of what people were thinking about me. There was an anger that had come from an insecurity. I lost the relationship with my daughter's mother because I thought she was going to hurt me. Right from the word go, I couldn't trust that I wasn't going to be hurt, and that was only because I was the one doing the lying and the hurting by not being honest with my drug addiction. And so if I could do that to other people, why wouldn't people do that to me? So it was just, an awful vicious circle. The paranoia was taking hold, and it was truthfully right out there. I'd look into things that weren't there. I'd look into people's judgments on me, and people's judgments would control my life. And to be honest, looking back, they weren't even judging me. Just lies that I told myself. And that'd, of course, just make me even more insecure. And I'd start getting bitter towards the world. And at the same time, I'd just still need that outlet, just something to relax. I tried everything from stand-up comedy, working in hotels. It was back to the performance base. It was, if I could perform, I could fool myself, but I'd still go home and be with myself, and I didn't think very highly of myself, truthfully. In my heart, I tried to separate myself from my heart. I remember specifically saying that I didn't believe in love, that love was something you could make up on your own. I loved my children, but I separated myself from any other love of the world. I started to think that I had no feelings. I separated myself that much just from being hurt, and put a block up there to stop myself from getting hurt, that I thought I didn't care about anything anymore. And my heart was just, it gave up on me, and evidently just gave up on the world as well. It wasn't a good place to be. I used to make the statement that it's harmless, it wasn't affecting me and stuff, and so the advice I'd give to people that say the same sort of thing would be, it's hard to want to listen, but you really need to stop and have a look on why you think it's harmless, because underneath that denial there is usually something that's trying to be covered up. Because when you say it's harmless, you're covering up from my experience, it's covering up hurt, it's covering up pain, and the only way to get free of it is to open up that pain and look at that pain. I'm in a lot better space now. The main thing is my relationship with Jesus. My faith now has just it's changed my life. It's given me something else to hold on to, something that's not my hurt, that's not my pain, that's not the things I need to cover up. looking into myself, where the pain come from, and knowing that it's never too late, that I am worth something. Self-worth is probably, and self-worth through my faith, and just a different bunch of people around me has just changed my outlook on what the world could be, and I'm a lot fitter. I now weigh 77 kilo, so there's something bigger, stronger, clearer and true. Something, that I hold on to now. Yeah, a lot's changed, and I feel so much better.